It's Nathan or Nave Shapes. Today we're going to be talking about how to work, which is a funny subject, like how to work. Who doesn't know how to work? But funnily enough, I'm just going to move this a little bit. It's a bit better. There we go. Yeah, how to work. And this is for people who are working inside somebody else's shop. You can be self-employed, renting a chair, split percentage, employed, whatever it is. You've got to be mindful on how you use this, and if you're going to use it to manipulate people, then it's not going to end up working out that well. You might win some stuff in the short term, but long term, you ain't going to get very far, trust me. And basically what you need to do is, if you want to get far in life, you need to help other people achieve what they want to achieve. It's being selfishly selfless, meaning you put other people's ideas, aspirations, goals, works, and dreams before your own, because that's what's going to help you achieve yours. Now, the right way to do this is by just doing it genuinely, by genuinely wanting to help people better themselves, better their career, better their business. Because once you do that, the repayment is you become a better person, you have a better reputation, you get better pay, you get to learn the stuff that you're helping other people with, so then you know it and you know how to use it yourself. So the sooner you can start putting other people first, the faster you're going to get to where you want to be. And how to do this if you're someone who's self-employed or employed in someone else's shop is, how I like to say it is, you're not the owner of the shop, but you want to act like the owner of the shop. Now, obviously, you're not going to go around telling people what to do, commanding this, da-da-da-da-da. What I mean is showing up as someone who acts like an owner. And I'm going to give you some examples, of course, of how to actually do that without pushing the limits too far. And, one simple way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some simple instructions, and they're going to sound so basic and obvious, but nobody does it. And that's the funny thing about it. I can tell you like the simplest steps, and none of you are going to do it. That's what is funny about this whole situation. But one of the things you can do to act like the owner is show up before the owner. Show up when you're not expected to. If you're in at 9 a.m., you don't just show up at 9 a.m. The latest you want to be showing up is 20 to 9. Early is on time, especially in a haircut, and you've got to set up your station and stuff like that. That's fine. That's your minimum standard requirement of you, is to show up before your first client and prep, right? But if you know the shop owner is going to be in at 7:30 to set up the shop, the owner is usually going to be one of the first ones there. Why don't you show up at 8:15? You might not have the keys, but you're there. And the owner will be like, whoa, what the fuck? What are you doing here so early? You're going to surprise them. And then you get in the shop, you help clean and prep the shop. Not just your station, not just your piece. You help open the shop like an owner does. You ask them, what do you need me to do? What can I do? Another way you can do this is be the last one to leave. So if you finish, your clients are done for the day, you've got to clean up. Don't just clean your station. Clean everything. Clean someone else's station while they're still cutting. Sweep around them. Mop around them. Clean their mirror for them, so when they're finished, half the majority is clean for them as well. So they've just got to clean their stuff, clean their chair, and leave. This is what an owner would be doing. This stuff gets recognized. The thing is with this, you have to genuinely care about doing it for the care of the shop and everybody else in there. So you're doing it to genuinely care about the shop experience for the clients and for your team and for the owner. And that kind of stuff done consistently, it gets recognized. Trust me, it gets recognized. It's the small things, small little details like this that owners and brand builders will be like, fuck, this guy's really putting in the effort, because that what seems like a small bit of effort is actually this much effort. Because what that says to the owner is, this guy gives a shit. And every owner wants someone in their team to just give a shit. We know you're never going to love the shop as much as the owner does. You can't. It's not a thing you can do, and we know that. But at least you can show that you give a shit more than the normal. And when you do that, you won't believe how far that can go. It can take you a very, very long way. And I'm going to introduce a new concept here that I didn't plan. Should I? I've said it now. So I'm going to introduce a new concept here that I wasn't going to mention, because again, it's a little bit more high level, but I call it subconscious residue. And what subconscious residue is how you act in one area of your life. Some of it sticks and gets transferred over to other areas of your life. So if you start becoming the person who shows up before the owner, and you stay behind before the owner, and you clean the shop for everybody else and not just yourself, you become this person who's just very on it with stuff. And that transfers over into other areas of your life. Like, you might see yourself start going to the gym a little bit more frequently. You might see yourself starting to opt for whole foods rather than junk foods a little more frequently. And you do this subconsciously. You might not know you're doing it, but you're improving other areas of your life because you've started to improve the way you show up to work. So it's this residue that carries over into other areas of your life that you might not even realize until you realize and go, oh shit, I'm really starting to get dialed in on this stuff. And you didn't even mean to, but it's because you got dialed into it in another area, like work. So it has multiple benefits. It's not just you trying to get a pay rise. It's not just you trying to get shares in a company and stuff like that. It's who you become in all areas of your life because you became this person in this area of your life. Is that making sense? The next thing I want to mention is, this is a bit, I don't know, take it as you want. How do I say it? Being busy as a barber, like being fully booked, that's your minimum standard requirement. And I know it's tiring and it's hard work and it's a graft. But just because you're fully booked, that doesn't mean you're automatically assumed to get a pay rise or you're owed anything. Being fully booked, your column being booked out every day of the week is at the minimum standard requirement of your role. You're supposed to be busy. It's the whole point. You have a break, you have a start time and a finish time. Everything in between that is supposed to be full. So just because you're full doesn't really give you the power to go and say, I want a pay rise. I want some more of this cut. I want a higher percentage of this, of what I'm doing. That's not fair for you to say that, because you knew the working hours before you got started. You accepted that those are the terms, these are the working hours, I'm willing to work these hours. And now those hours are full, you think you can start demanding more of that. It's not fair. What you could do is offer to work an extra day if you want to earn some more. You can offer to work extra hours, or you can start doing other things in the business. Start marketing the brand a little bit more. Become useful in the brand in other areas other than just being busy. And that goes down the path again of acting like the owner. What would the owner do? The owner gets full, cleans the shop, does the stock take, does the orders, does the marketing, does the content. Just do something else other than just being busy in the shop. And I know it sounds like a lot of work, because it is a lot of work. How do you think the owner feels? It's a lot of work. And if you're the type to go, that's not my role, I don't get paid to do that, good luck. Good luck with that type of attitude, because you will always be playing small. Even if you open your own shop with that attitude, you won't want to pay people properly. You'll want to squander how much you pay people because you think they shouldn't get anything more because they've just got a role to fill. And honestly, that kind of mindset is always going to keep you small. It is the worst type of mindset to have if you want to go far. And it's not difficult. You're just doing a little bit of extra work. Now, there's a few things you can do that are really going to show that you give a shit to the owner, and that can actually have a real impact on the brand and the business and the owner's life, which can really help you put you in a good light with the brand, and really probably put you on a path of, this could be someone who is more valuable to the brand. And when you become more valuable to the brand, that's when you have some leverage to talk about pay rises. And what those things are is, can you save the owner any time? Can you save the owner any money? Can you make the owner any money? Can you save the owner any energy? Are the things you can do that help any of those areas, no matter how small it is? Is there a way you can save the company some money? Can you find a new supplier of products that cost a little bit less? Therefore, if they're paying £5 of products, but you found a supplier for £3 of product, which is equally as reputable, you can present that as an idea to the owner. The owner will review it, and they might say yes, they might say no. But at least you're presenting the idea. And that's the key thing here. Bring ideas to the table. Because when you bring ideas to the table, you show the owner that you give a shit. Have you noticed the recurring theme running through this already? It's just all about giving more shits than you currently are. When you try to come up with ideas on how to help the owner save time, save money, make money, save energy, save stress, you will be put in a good light and you become more valuable to the brand. Now, the owner might not want to take on any of your ideas. They might not like any of them. And that's fine. All of your ideas can get rejected, but at least you're bringing some ideas. That's the whole point. At least you're presenting ideas. You're trying to help where you can. And that stuff doesn't go unnoticed. You can also... The other one is element of surprise. Having the element of surprise is fucking surprising. Surprisingly enough, doing things out of the ordinary also puts you in a good light. Things like bringing in a round of coffees for everyone without asking. You can ask as well. You can send a message in the group chat and say what coffees everybody want and bring them in. But the real cheat code is knowing what everybody's orders already are and then showing up with the orders without asking. That's what an owner would do. A good owner, anyway. They show up with everybody's favourite drink without asking. Because that says, I understand you. I know what you like. I listen to you in your conversations when we talk. And I've remembered what you like. And now I care enough to take some money out of my own pocket and bring something in for you. Without expecting anything in return. Those kind of moves, those element of surprises are huge. They're massive. Another one. Come in on your day off to clean the shop. Who? I would love to know what barber has ever thought, I'm going to go and clean the shop on my day off that's not mine. Doesn't happen. So when it does, guess who looks good? It's not hard. This is not difficult stuff. The one thing you need to remember about this whole thing is just act like the owner. I'm not sure what else I've got for you. I have got some other stuff, but it's not really for this chat. But yeah, this is for anybody who's barber, employed, self-employed, and it's also good for shop owners as well. That I want to support everyone. I'm more in the camp of freelancers. Like, I love supporting individuals, and I believe everybody at some point should try self-employed life, even just to try it for a bit. So I like the solo operator model. I like the flexibility of it, the autonomous nature of being a solo operator. It's just my preference. It's not for everybody, and I don't recommend it to everybody, but I recommend everybody at least try it at some point. But I know what it's like to have the shop and build a brand and have team that aren't good for the brand, and you have to figure out how to remove them. But then I've also had team who are like excellent and perfect, and like, how can we provide more for them, and how can we grow together? And it's stuff like this. The things that we really cared about and owners really care about is somebody who else just cares. If the owner's shop is their baby, right? You hear this all the time, like their business is like their baby. If the shop means that much to the owner and it is their baby, can you imagine how important someone's baby is to somebody? So treat their baby with tender, loving care, genuine, tender, loving care, and they'll have a completely different affection towards you. It's what you want. It's what everybody wants. It's what the owner wants. It's what you as somebody working under somebody wants. You all want to get along. You all want to do well. You're all on your own mission. You're all trying to get paid. You're all trying to build a brand. If you want to get paid, do shit that the owner would be doing. Because you become indispensable to the brand. And when you're indispensable, that's when you have leverage to ask for something like a pay rise. But the key is sticking to it when you get the pay rise as well. It's not just doing it to get the pay rise, because then you become the fraud. The key is actually becoming the person deserving of the pay rise because of who it's going to help you become, and how that unconscious residue of becoming that person is going to sprinkle and spread into other areas of your life That's the real value. Yes, you might get a pay rise. Great, good on you. But who you become because of what you had to do to get to the pay rise is where the value is. That's a real value. When you become a better person, a better operator, a better worker, a better team member, and a better person to be around. That's valuable. Not just in the shop you work in, but in society. You become an asset to the planet. And good things happen when you give more shits about things that most people won't because it's not in their job title, or they don't get paid for that, or it's not my shop so I'm not doing it. Fine, you can be one of those people all you want, but you're not going to get far. It's a fact. You have to evolve out of that frame at some point. To get more out of life, you have to start giving more. You can't be the type who just keeps taking from the cookie jar. You have to be the one who puts stuff back. You have to be the one who puts cookies back into the cookie jar. And you'll notice there's very few people putting the cookies back in and more people taking the cookies out. And when you're the one refilling the cookie jar, people want to be around you. People like you. People want to be like you. People ask you questions. They'll actually look to you as a bit of a leader because their leadership qualities, the person who refills the cookie jar, it's a leadership quality. And you have to get to a certain place in your mind to be able to do that, because most of the time and most of your life, you're only thinking about yourself. And if you're only thinking about yourself, you're limiting what you're truly capable of. You're truly limiting your own potential. That's today's one. I hope you liked it. If you want to join Principles, where I help barbers stop winging their haircuts and build them into educators. And I mean, we're only 3.5 months into this program, 4 months into this program. And it's turning into like more of it's a mentorship, but more like a personal development program at this point. There's people doing things in there where they're finding themselves for the first time. They're coming out of their shell. They're falling in love with not only with their craft again, but with themselves again, and really starting to love not just their work, but their life again. Because Principles isn't about just cutting hair. These kind of conversations we have inside of Principles, we have these conversations where I help you unlock your true potential by helping you see things differently, helping you operate differently. If you just want to learn how to cut hair, there are plenty of other platforms out there, but if you're truly ready to step into the next level of your career and your life, and you're ready to evolve, Principles might be the thing for you. And if you want to get involved, you can join the waitlist by going to the first link in the description. Join the waitlist, get the free training, and watch for the emails for when the doors open. But yeah, that's all for this one. Act like the owner.